Here.
Perfect. Just in
Okay.
time. How are you today, Julie?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Well, you know me. I'm Eric, and I am your Purpose Factor licensed facilitator today, and I'm pleased to be with
Hey.
you. I'm excited to go over your assessment so that you have a better understanding of who you are. It's very exciting, very exciting. Did you get a chance to look over your report?
I did.
And what were your thoughts? What did you think about the report after you read about yourself?
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was very accurate, and I was actually shocked how accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
amazing.
yeah. I didn't even know there was such thing as a builder. And I've been building buildings for I
Right.
don't even how many for and there's actually a category of a builder. So I thought, wow, I don't know if it's meant actually for building buildings or just meaning building like what do you say, not literally, um but there's actually a builder category, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it. We'll get an answer to that question. If it's building relationships, building structures, we will find out. That's what's pretty exciting about it. Today's 1 hour will be recorded for our purposes, for your purposes. If he needs to be uh, recalled, we can do so, and it's strictly confidential and won't go anywhere else. But
Thank you.
today, you've looked through your assessment and you saw there were 4 areas of the assessment:
Uh-huh.
the natural advantages, acquired skills, pull passion, and the origin strengths. And today, we're just going to go through your natural advantage.
Okay.
So, a natural advantage is, by definition, just the role you tend to play at work or in life. It's the what comes natural to you. It's just how you were made. It's no acquired skills. It's simply you and how you interact with people who you're working with or socially. That's your
Mhm.
natural advantage.
Okay.
So you said you were pretty excited about the report. When I read my report, I too was just as excited. It was pretty impressive that you can answer a series of questions and then bada bing, there you are.
Yeah.
So, I was just going to ask you a couple questions. The first question I have for you is, when you were working, I understand you're retired now, but when you were working, do you have a particular day that stood out amongst your working career? There's just one day that really got you fired up, great memories, great emotions, something that you just can't forget and you get really excited. There's a smile on your face every time you think about it. Any day in your working career that comes to mind?
Well, for work, I was a pilot and I loved that. Um, but I have to say, because it was quiet a lot of that time, the excitement taking off and landing. And in between, I probably did a lot of vision building, dreaming in between, and mostly about the nonprofit work that I did. That's really what I was thinking about most of the time, because during that time on my days off, that's when I would go to India and do the mission work. So that's what was really fulfilling to me, was the mission work. And the flying was how I earned my money. And being an instructor was really enjoyable for me.
Mhm.
I liked that part more as an instructor, to have those deeper relationships and a little bit more depth at work. But I have to say, since I retired, since I had to retire, and while I was working, I built, was it 2 schools in India? And then after retirement, I mean, I didn't physically build them, but under my direction and vision and dreaming, that's when I started building the houses and the retreats in order to build two more direct, at least direct and design community center and then two more orphanages.
Wow.
So that's what really gets me jazzed, I would say, is
That's pretty impressive. That's amazing. So you're a professional pilot at a legacy carrier. You're an aviation instructor, you taught pilots, and you're a builder. Yeah. And
literal
just from
builder.
listening to your conversation here, your passion for building, it's right up there. It's an equal with your career. I mean, there's not too many people that could say that you've reached the pinnacle of your aviation career as a captain at a major airline. It's pretty impressive. But yet your natural advantage in life as a builder, to me, from what I just witnessed, carries as much excitement for you as your career did.
Yeah, that's what I think now, even from while being sick and, not able to work, I think that's when I found the most fulfillment was, um, I always kind of live in my head because I can't physically work. So just designing and taking the visions that come to me, to design the places, and then people will say, "Well, did you go to school for design or architecture?" And I'm like, "No, I have no business doing this really." And it's really just from listening to God. For me, it's just like visions really. But I have to say, in all my career, that's like an amazing, fulfilling career. This has been the most rewarding, and that's why when I saw that it showed me as a builder, I was like, wow, I've never heard of such a thing. And the purpose for all of the building is for the need satisfier. So that also, I was just like, this is just crazy.
The purpose of the building is what?
Was as a need satisfier because everything I build is for the purpose of satisfying the needs, to meet the needs of the people that are impoverished, or to break the cycle of poverty. Because let's see, two were schools and two orphanages and one community center. So five of the buildings were for people to break the cycle of poverty and education. And the other buildings, well, a couple were homes, but the retreats. So five of the buildings were to raise money to support the
Mhm.
meeting the needs. So really, when it shows in there my pull factor, it is like nailed it.
Yeah, good for you. That's cool. Very exciting. So when you did this work in India, did you actually spend time over in India to supervise, or did you have help over there? Did you build from a distance?
Yes, I mean, from a distance. I have a husband and wife team, and I worked there for over 10 years. I'm not great with dates. My daughters are 27, 26, 27, and they ever since I adopted them, I've been returning to help kids with education. And like 10 of those years was kind of being mentored to
Mhm.
lead. And then it was in 2011 when I started Wings Outreach Worldwide. So since then, I would just go back like 3, 4 times a year. And then on the, before we even had laptop or cell phones and computers, I was, you know, calling. And since then, just like at least 2, 3, 4 times a day, just messaging and directing everything remotely through the amazing couple that I have there that does all the hands-on work.
And so explain to me the fulfillment you felt. Let's just say you said you built a couple schools, couple orphanages, community center. Those are the five buildings. Your first project out of those five was what?
The first one was in northern India. It was a school.
Okay, so how did you feel when that project was over? You raised money, you helped in the design, the architecture of the building, and there it is, done. Kids are going in to class and being educated. And I understand your mission statement for your nonprofit is to break the cycle of poverty through education. First day of school, kids are walking in. Talk to me. How did that make you feel?
It's like, to me, it's like heavenly. Honestly, I had goosebumps
I got
because
goosebumps just asking you the question. Gosh.
yeah, because it's greater than me. It's not, I don't feel like it's just me. I really, it feels like it's visionary, and it's because it's not about me and it's not
Motivated
myself.
by a higher calling. There's no doubt about
Yeah, it's from a calling. The first time, first when I had my nonprofit, I called it Planting Dreams, and it was just I sold plants like a garage sale out of my garage, and I won't try to make this story long, but it's kind of cute. I made the theme Planting Dreams with a mustard seed. And so it was if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, the Bible verse, then you can do anything.
it.
So that was my theme little sticker. I put on all the seeds and I sold plants and I sold seeds and wildflower seeds. And so that's what we used to build it. So when I arrived there um, at night and the next morning, my mom came with me. We went and the school was in the middle of this field filled with yellow flowers. So I said, brother, the brother is the Iqbal, the guy that built the school. I said, what are these flowers? That is gorgeous. And he says, oh, my sister, they are mustard seeds. It was literally built in the middle of a mustard seed field. And he did not know that that was my fundraising theme. So, I mean, so part of the reason why I felt that satisfaction is because like I knew like God is in this, and so this is greater than me. And so that's why the purpose, the fulfillment is more like this is more than me. It's doing the work that God has planned.
Yeah, it's
So that's why that's more the flying airplanes, I love it. It's great. It was an amazing job and it allowed me to get where I needed to go for free. I could get there free.
mhm.
But the really fulfilling is to see, wow, look at this. And I didn't do it alone. When I say I built it, I didn't build it by hands and I didn't even raise the money. I mean, I didn't, it wasn't my own money. Other people gave and other people prayed and other people helped and other people did it. I didn't do it myself, but I just let's say I lit the flame, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's
So
exciting.
I'm kind of a fire. I always described myself as a fire starter, but here it says builder, but I always saw myself like a fire starter. So that just gives me great joy because a lot of people dream about things, but they don't actually do it. And I'm like a, let's do it. And my phrase here in Mexico is if someone says, "Oh, we should do this. This would be cool." I just say, "¿Por qué no?" Like, why not? Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go for it. Because what good is dreaming if you don't actually light the fire?
Oh, you did. Yeah.
I'm like a spiritual pyromaniac.
The words are worthless and actions everything. And for you,
Right.
you have a dream, and dreams are backed up by actions, which become reality. And you've changed hundreds of lives through your vision and execution. It's very, very impressive. So that's what made you the most fulfilled. Now, on the opposite side of the coin here, what frustrates you? What what really gets under your skin? What bothers you?
Well, let me think. I'm trying to not think of current events. Let me try to be in general.
But think back to
Uh,
as a mother, as a aviator, as a builder.
okay.
There's
All
something
right.
common that
Yeah.
really frustrated you.
Yes. I will say, unfortunately, I'm easily frustrated. I hate to admit, I cannot stand to micromanage people. I really like I have the vision and I try to make it really clear And it's difficult because what I see in my head, when I see the building or things that need to be done, there's not always like, I can't find it online to say, here's the picture of it.
Right.
This is it, because it's usually something very unique. So when I try to find people to help accomplish that, and I think I'm a good communicator. I believe I am. I hope I am. But then when people then exchange and say, yes, I understand. Okay, yes, you're going to do this. Yes, I understand this. And we communicate. And then they don't follow through and I have to micromanage. Did you do this? Why didn't you do that? And well, I didn't think you cared or I didn't know, and just not following through and me having to micromanage people. So I found that while I thought I was a good manager because I actually went to school for management. I have a degree in management.
Mhm.
I always thought, actually, until this test, that I am a good manager, that I would describe myself as a manager, and that's my skill. And I think from reading this test, I realized that actually managing was specifically micromanaging. I really detest it. I really want, I really need and want quality managers to take over what I have built.
Right.
And they're hard to find.
Yeah.
In India, I found the gem. And I don't have to micromanage because he and his wife take care of it. So that's my frustration is now there's something beautiful here, and now, I'm ready to go build something else
Mhm.
and start another fire. And now, is someone going to take care of this, steward what I have built?
Mhm.
Because I can't always stick around to manage all these pieces. I feel there's different people are skilled to do the day-to-day operation, and that's not really me.
Right.
And now this kind of validated to me that I kind of thought maybe it was a problem I had, that maybe I'm uh, why can't I stay? Like, why don't, I build it and then I
Yeah.
lose interest, or it's like the day to day that I should, what, no, you build it and then you should just, now you take over and you do every little thing. I'm very detail orientated, but I always have this desire then to go build something new. And I thought, well, what's wrong? Why I want to keep doing something new? But it's because I am a builder and that's my role. I'm not supposed to be the one to micromanage it after the fact. That's somebody else's job. But I don't always have those people. That's what this test helped me the most to realize. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just that I can't be everything.
No.
I can't do
You do
do
know your strengths and weaknesses, and you do know that one of your weaknesses isn't the continuous day-to-day management.
Yeah, I don't like it. I can do it. I'm capable. If I were healthy, if I were completely healthy, I would be capable, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. It's not fulfilling to me to do the grind every day. It's not.
So your first project, the school, how many years ago did that school open? I know you're not good with time, but give me a rough idea.
Well, it was, let's see, it must have been 25 years ago because my kids were,
25 years. And
25 years ago.
do you uh, emphasize the kids? Do you do any work with adults? I know your mission statement is breaking the cycle of poverty through education, and assuming the adults are educated, but do you like working with the children more than adults, or adults more than children, equal? Who is your audience? Who do you want to make your greatest impact on?
Well, I primarily focus on children, but it's not exclusively. And the reason is because with children, we can kind of break that cycle of poverty through education. And sometimes with adults, those habits are pretty ingrained and it's hard to change.
Mhm.
However, I do really like with adults that are willing and able to do job training programs, and um, anyone willing to like try to educate them to work and help that way. I do have other friends that focus on women women's groups and women helping single moms and things like that. Because like my friend who does that would say, well, if you help the moms, then the kids naturally get help. So you should focus on the moms. And I think that different of us, different people are called differently. So I don't exclusively help children, but that's primarily my heart because if we can change this next generation through educating, then they'll take care of their parents later.
Yeah.
But and there are other people called to the other people. So yeah, I would say primarily it's the children. However, now I'm finding more with counseling. Didn't even talk about that. Now, because of my inability to work, and I'm a pastor also, I'm a little, I feel
It all, girl.
like I sound weird, all the different things I do. Now, because of my inability to travel, I didn't mention the inability to travel and fly around or be physical. And when you're doing this work is very physical, being out with the kids, and I can't do that anymore. Just the uh, helping people um, build in a different way. Like that's been kind of my question is what does a builder do when you're 55 years old and you don't have any money to build? It like I don't know how many more buildings I would actually build. And I'm thinking more like building up people in teams. So I've now moved more to the counseling, like as a pastor.
Mhm. Yeah, so
So
that kind of brings us back to the first paragraph of our conversation here, where we discussed what are we building? Are we building relationships? Are we building structures?
mhm.
You've exhausted, sounds like money, time. You've unable to fly and spending more time in India, but you have a great working team over there that handles the day-to-day operation, which you feel very comfortable with. So you don't have to be concerned about that frustration of micromanaging them. It's all self-sustaining. So
Yeah.
you're back where you are now. You're done building, and this purpose factor assessment kind of opened your eyes to
Yeah.
a new type of building. Is that true?
Yes.
Do explain.
Well, that was the main thing I was thinking about. So, what do you do with this? And I still don't know exactly. I'm processing that, but I'm now rather than now I'm looking more at building up people. And so in that I see through counseling, which I've just always done naturally. That's just been part of being a pastor. And being the pastor has been part of doing the mission work. That was just me. So now because of the physical restrictions and the inability to fly, I'm looking more at counseling people and helping them find their purpose. And so that's bringing me more to adults.
Yeah, interesting.
That's why it's changed from children to adults because, with the little kids that I was mostly helping in India and in Mexico with the language barriers, it's easier for me. Now my focus is shifting to changing adults, like building their mind and helping them find purpose in order to break the cycle of poverty.
Okay,
So
so
it's changed.
the theme with kids and adults are the same. Is there anything else, any specialty or any other areas you would rather spend time with adults that have a decent education? We have our work in third world countries, and education here would be something that wouldn't be, I don't know what you would consider the same education in the United States. Uh, but working with adults, is there any other areas of specialty besides education you would like to get into?
Well, let me say this. This is where I had a real change, a shift in my mindset. Is I always was focused on orphans primarily, or the poor children that needed help. But it was mainly orphans. And it was in um what was it, like a conference or something I went to, and they were talking about spiritual orphans, people that were trying to that had like I don't know how else to say this because so weird, like daddy issues or something. And because of their daddy issues and their issues with not having a good earthly father, they were not viewing God our Father properly. And so in this conference, because I had a really good dad, I was sitting there and realizing I was with in a room full of spiritual orphans. And God really showed me, you think that you, because at that point I could not travel to India anymore and I was heartbroken about it. And I thought, you're not, you can't, you don't have to just only help orphans in India, but you're sitting in a room full of these Americans in their 50s and 60s, and most of them are spiritual orphans. And
Hmm.
so I would say that my who I want to help is orphans, but both uh, literal orphans and spiritual orphans. And that's what kind of made the counseling shift because I can do that on Zoom from my bed if I have to. I can do that till the day that I die.
It's a
I don't
great,
have to travel to India to help a spiritual orphan. And they're everywhere.
right? That's awesome, man. You can still deliver your purpose through your disability
Mhm.
by just being at home and having availability with the internet.
Right.
That's great. So working with kids, working with adults, breaking the cycle of poverty through education, um, spiritual leaders, all that is just very fulfilling to you. What is the really motivating factor? Why do you do all this?
Um, well, I'm a believer, and so I do everything because of God. And that's my motivating factor because I feel like I'm on extra time, on bonus time because
Yeah,
I'm lucky that I'm alive. I've had so many close calls that I feel my life's not my own. So if you want a sermon, I could give it. You didn't know you were going to get a sermon.
I would like to take you up on that. That would be great.
I
That's
truly do feel I'm on bonus time, and so I don't live for myself. I live to serve,
cool.
and I mean that. I really mean that.
Exciting. Very exciting. Well, what I would like to do is go into your purpose factor assessment.
Okay.
Like you to, well, first of all, you did review your report. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's on page 21.
Okay. Do
The
you want me to?
first section of the assessment is the natural advantage. And again, that is the skills that you have that were never acquired. You were just born with. You just had them. That's who you are. And it also
Do you want me to pull it up? Do you want me to share mine? I have it here.
play and work in life. You know what? I am not a computer literate person. I am one of these guys that need education.
Here, I just
If I
requested.
needed to have a income and I had to work on a computer, I would be homeless.
Okay. Well, I just asked if I could share. Maybe you can. Is it requesting if I can share with you? Otherwise, I can just look at it myself. But I
Uh,
just
um,
request to share
I
the.
hit allow,
Okay, great.
honey.
Yes. Okay. Well, it's not working. It's okay. All right. I have it here in front of me. So let's just.
I have your assessment report here.
Okay. I have mine too.
Okay, and I want to look at the category about what most fulfills you. Do you
Okay.
want to read those bullet points to me, or have you read them yourself and there are
On
a couple that stand out?
page 21.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me read these. Launching new initiatives and projects, solving significant complex problems, seeing your visions take place and come to life, innovating and apply creative solutions, delegating tasks and observing your plans progress through others, receiving recognition for strategic insight and innovation ideas. For sure, the main one is seeing your visions take shape and come to life. That's number one for sure. And let's see. I do love solving significant complex problems. But also so those would be the top two. I don't really care about receiving recognition. I'm super introverted, so that's not a big deal for me.
Yeah, never once have I heard you say,
No.
I need mine. It's just, it's not about you.
And delegating tasks and observing my plans. I mean, I have to delegate tasks, but I actually struggle with that. So I would say also the innovating and applying creative solutions, I like that. But the number one would definitely be seeing my vision take shape and come to life, and then solving significant complex problems. Launching new initiatives and projects, that is exciting, but it's more fun to see them when you're deeper into it, and the end part, that's more fulfilling.
Great. And then right below where it talks about what most frustrates you, there's 5 bullet points right there.
Okay.
Read those, please.
All right.
And
Being bogged.
which couple stand out with you?
Being bogged down by excessive detail, time delays, and micromanagement. For sure. I just said it. Encountering slowness or resistance to change in teams and projects. Experience a lack of freedom to innovate and initiate new projects. Drives me crazy, of course. Facing situations where there's no opportunity for vision or strategic planning. Yeah, these are all very accurate. Being stuck in pointless routine without access to creative strategic outlets. Oh, for sure. So I think number one I have to say is that being bogged down by excessive details, time delays, and micromanagement. The number one, it's that micromanagement part. Right. Makes me crazy. And I don't know if that means bogged down by micromanagement. I mean, if people micromanaging me or me having to micromanage, can't stand it. I'm the big picture person, and please bring me someone competent that will do the details properly. Mm-hmm. And then, let's see. Being stuck in pointless routine with no access for creative outlet. And I think that was the hard part with flying. Even though it's super cool, there's just not a lot of creativity. Yeah. But like I said, that's the time I took I was dreaming while there's much going on. But I cannot stand pointless routine with no creativity. It's just like horrible to me, horrible. Those would be the most.
Sure. Okay.
And when but I have to say all of these I can relate, because when there's no freedom to initiate new projects or resistance to change, I'm all about change. If there's a problem, let's do this. Let's get creative. Don't pop my creative bubble, right? I think you've heard that before. Like, let's dream and let's do it different. I'm all about innovating new ideas, even if it's like I like things, how do we say? I like old style and rustic, old traditional, but we can innovate it new. But man, if people do not have an open mind to be creative, that's just, I can't be around the people like that.
Good. Understand. It's very interesting to sit down, answer some questions on a purpose factor assessment test. Mm-hmm. And then 40 minutes later, you get a printout of who you are. Mm-hmm. You and I both talked about how impressive the test is and how it really creates a roadmap to your soul. And after reviewing the what most fulfills you and what most frustrates you list, did you see any similarities between the list and what we talked about at the very beginning about your most fulfilled day and your most frustrating day?
It's identical.
Yeah, pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. I
I
was just reading, if I can read this, I was reading down below. It says you typically avoid micromanagement, but you may resort to it if your vision isn't being realized or you feel compelled to complete tasks on behalf of others.
well, you have to. You have to.
Yeah, but it's like it's not because you do it not because you want to, but you're compelled to because they're not doing it right. And people think that you actually want to micromanage, but it's because you're compelled to because they're not doing it right. Take a moment to ensure everyone has the resources and support they need. Your strength lies in your ability to grasp the overreaching vision and articulate it in a manner that energizes and motivates your team. So yeah, it's that's exactly it. And so this was so helpful for me to see this. Um,
Just helps validate who you are, what you thought you were, who you were, and just allows you to have that confidence to do your next project.
and then in just relationships too, where it says your relationships and friendships, you thrive with individuals who recognize you as an idea person and don't fault you for dreaming big.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Under relationships, where this is so helpful just for relationships, even at work, it says in relationships and friendships, you thrive with individuals who recognize you as an idea person. They don't fault you for dreaming big and expect you to juggle multiple ideas or projects simultaneously. Your ideal partners are those who understand your urge to build and innovate is fundamental aspect of your identity. They respect your need for independence and strategic thought and provide encouragement during setbacks, reminding you of your essence as a builder. How often do I say, don't pop my bubble,
Yeah.
please? This is who I am. And so for me, like not even ever thinking this was a category of a type of person it
If
is so
somebody comes along, you have a vision, you have a dream, and you spill it out, and somebody says, "Wow, that won't work because of this reason or that reason."
constantly,
What's
constantly.
that? Constantly?
Yeah, constantly. If I listened to everybody that told me it was not a good idea or wouldn't happen or why it wasn't going to work, I would have done nothing.
Yeah. Um, we talked about your 5 projects, and there were multiple homes you built on the side. Um, but here you are. You mentioned you were 55. You're retired. You're disabled. No more money. No more building. You're working on your counseling master's degree. You're going to be a purpose factor facilitator. What goals do you have for yourself as you start the second half of your life here? What's gonna entertain Julie?
Well, like you said, I'm going to complete my purpose factor facilitator
Facilitator,
course.
coach.
Yes, so I'm excited about that. Finish my master's and then start my PhD. Not that I'm going to, I wouldn't be able to go do that full time, but it's for my brain.
Mhm.
It's just the goal for that is because I understand that you need to keep using your mind so you don't lose it. And I think people always need goals in front of them. And I like to studying because of all the things that I can't do physically and I can't travel and all the things I can't do.
Mhm.
I can, and actually, I put all my books into Audible. And so it's something I can do. And because I'm a grandma and I'm a pastor, people come to me for advice anyway. They look to me for wisdom. And so if I'm going to study something, why not study wisdom that I can give to the next generations and to anyone that approaches me as a pastor. So for me, it's like, well, it's a no-brainer. Why not go ahead and study that? So that's what I'm doing. Those are my goals. And then along the way, I will just distribute that wisdom.
Yeah.
That's my new goal because I have to look at my restrictions. I have to be realistic that I financially don't have money to keep building. I mean, the nonprofit might, so there could be some buildings in me yet. Maybe like being the idea person, that's possible.
Sure.
But most likely not many more buildings. And realistically, physically, with my age and physical restrictions, not very likely. It's
Mhm.
more likely that I can um, learn and give wisdom. That's being really realistic. And that's what this report has helped me realize. And that it doesn't have a time constraint on it. I don't have to work for anybody any certain times because that's not possible. I have those restrictions. But you can always, when I am available, I can always help other people find their purpose. I can share this with my children. I can share this with my friends. We can share this with the retired people around us. We can share it with other people. My network is a lot of people that are disabled and they feel like they have no purpose because they can't work a job full time.
So
But we still have purpose we still can inspire people. We can still teach other people about purpose, even if we can't do traditional work, we can't go do things, but we learned things that we can share. We still have wisdom to share. And so that's, we still have to find, if we don't have any purpose at all, you start to die.
sure. Absolutely. It's a healthy body, healthy mind, keeping the mind active in the years to come. You always heard about your body, keep it in motion, but you got to exercise your brain also. So you have your goals are all laid out. The reality is it's very achievable. You've
Mhm.
got the opportunity, and you're just going to grow. You're going to change lives. You have many, many great, fulfilling years to come. Sounds like the building would come to an end and maybe another project here and there, but you're laying the groundwork for a very purposeful life for you for the next hopefully many years to come, and you're gonna change people. You're gonna be a success story. People are gonna remember you. You're just a pretty impressive young lady. I've really enjoyed our time together, and we just touched on one area of the assessment,
Mhm.
the well, the natural advantage. You still have three more. If you would like to get together in the future for some more sessions on the remaining assessment, we could make that happen. And if not, if you want to get into more about the purpose factor, Brian and Gabrielle just made a great book. Love it, love it, love it. It would be something to put in your library. And I hope to see you again. I would love to talk more with you about your assessment and just want to be part of your success story. You're a pretty impressive young lady.
Thank you. Yes, this was fun. I liked going over this, and we will talk more about it, especially the discernment part. I love how, what I always like to say too is that I love how we're all different, and that's why we're the body. From a Christian perspective, from a pastoral perspective, we are the body of Christ, and so we each have our role to play. And we couldn't do anything with just a builder couldn't do anything without the other people to carry it out and then continue managing it. And so we need to build a team. And so, in our family, we have our team and we should all have a board of directors for ourselves and seek out. That's what this test also taught me, the assessment, to make sure I have people in my life that can fulfill these parts of me that I don't have.
Mhm.
It's so important. And so if it's for work or nonprofit or just your personal life, and I'm fortunate that I don't have a lot of friends, but the few I do, I've got some truth tellers and I've got some teachers and some people that are different than me. And like you as an overseer, I feel really blessed that I'm starting to build this small network of my people that meet all those that complement
Sure.
me.
Yeah. Well, you are who you run with, and you're running with a great herd there. You got a great group of people following you and lifting you up. You're going to be all right.
Thank you. This was fun.
Adios, chica.
Adios. You can just hit end record and then I'll help you save it. Just hit stop. You see that there?
Come on.
Just hit stop record and then I'll help you from there. In the upper right, move